mission of life. Get your daily balances. Kim Jacobs comes your way. We're here to open your eyes, making your day great and your life even better. Say, oh, daily balance. Get your daily balance. Daily balance. Get your daily balance with Kim.
Hello and welcome to Daily Balance. Last season, we had a powerful show about surviving sexual child abuse. We met a young man who had personally been sexually abused from ages 4 to 13. We've asked him to join us again today to follow up on his remarkable journey of hope and healing. Please welcome teacher, lecturer, author, and the founder of the Butterfly Gateway, Wade Younger. Hey, Wade.
Hi, Kim.
I'm so glad you came back.
Thanks so much.
You know, I don't
Thanks
have
for
too many
having me.
guests back
Right.
that often, but you came back because you know why? Because
that?
people need to know how to get past this sexual child abuse thing and what to look for.
Right.
And you tell a great story,
Thank you.
great story.
Thank
and
you
you're doing
very
a lot of great work.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you having me. I mean, it's been pretty remarkable. I mean, since we've talked the last thing, one of the things that I've been talking about is my recovery and my
Yes.
journey. I mean, my situation was, I was molested from the age of 4 to 13 from a couple of trusted relatives,
Yes.
a neighbor, some strangers as well, and you start to leave those things behind you. You try to if you don't deal with it, and that was my case. I carried it into adulthood before I knew it, and went through it for a long time, and was married for several years, 22 years, and just got the best of me, and that marriage ended, but I really wanted to get better,
Yeah.
and then just like get into sexual child abuse, very similar to how someone with cancer wants to get into oncology. You know, what's
Yes.
behind it? I really wanted to connect the dots. So it's been pretty remarkable.
And what have you found as you're connecting the dots? Because you actually came up with the Butterfly Gateway. What is that all about?
The Butterfly Gateway is a foundation for sexual child abuse awareness and recovery. It's an online service for support,
Yeah,
and we have a support group here in Charlotte. And one of the things that we recognize is as people start to heal, they're in different stages. Some people are what we call in flight, and what we mean by that, they're actively pursuing a healing process.
Yes.
And then some people aren't ready yet. It bothers them, but they're not really ready to talk about it or go to see a therapist.
Yeah.
So the Gateway is for people that don't mind getting on the internet, thebutterflygateway.com, and there's resources there. There's several stories, and it's also a blog so people can tell their stories.
That's
and,
right, I love it.
Yeah, and as recently as this week, I still get emails from people that have been, who've seen this show, and to talk about, well, this is what my story is. How do you live a daily life and recover?
Yes.
And so that's sort of the purpose of the Butterfly Gateway, and it's very effective.
Good. That's butterflygateway.com. Or you can also visit dailybalancewithkim.tv, and we'll direct you over to butterflygateway.com. That's awesome. And I know you have a great, exciting project going on right now, Youthepedia.
Right.
Tell us about Youthepedia.
Well, it's interesting. It has a good backstory. What happened was, as I started to continue to create tools for adults, one of the things that I wanted to recognize is what can parents have to help their kids? And if you were a child and you know you were molested and you're not ready to talk about it, what tool can help a child move forward? And so I started to think, well, and do some research, what's effective for children? Well, they enjoy coloring books, activity books. And so what I did was I created a series called The Adventures of Humble Jungle.
I love it.
It's produced by an organization I created called Youthepedia.
Yes.
And they're actual coloring books, activities books that has to do with, again, sexual child abuse. What happens if someone touches you? What happens if someone tries to kidnap you? What
to do if someone tries to take you?
Right.
How to cope with depression? And these are nice, very nice animations here.
I appreciate it.
How to deal with suicidal thoughts in a coloring book format. How to view the internet safely.
Right.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
What to do if someone touches you.
Yeah.
All of my children will be using these coloring books.
Awesome.
Literally.
Glad to
I have
hear
5
it.
children. You already know that. So
Yeah, right.
definitely.
Good. And we actually have over 300 topics after doing research and finding what's important to parents and children.
Yes.
we found out everything from sex, drugs, gangs, being bullied. And so premarital sex, hooking up, these new trend of choking and using things for drugs, prescriptions, things of that nature. So it's a phenomenal project that actually even the PTA, the National PTA, with 5 million members are interested in what we're doing.
Woo,
so
that's a high five moment.
That's a high five moment.
You already put your hand down.
I know. I was ready for you that
You
time.
were ready. Last time you were like, hey, what's the hand for? I'm like, high five moments on Daily Balance.
That's it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
But it's interesting, Kimberly, the thing that brought this along was a desire to heal and get better. I had no idea I would be on this journey, but I just wanted to get better and bring this issue of sexual child abuse out of the closet because it lives and thrives in secrecy. If you eliminate the secret, you can move forward. You're only as sick as your sickest secret.
And you know what? Since you've been on my show, my husband and I, we've had so many discussions with our own children, and we've made sure that they know you can feel comfortable. And I don't care if somebody tells you it's a secret. I don't care if they threaten you and say they're going to kill your mom and your dad. I don't care about any of that. You make sure that you say something and tell them whatever you want to. Sure, I'll keep it a secret. Oh, of course I'll keep it. Whatever. But when you get home, you better make sure you tell us because we want to know this stuff. So I felt like I was personally educated from you being on my show the last time. So
Thank you
it was
much.
Great information.
I appreciate it.
And
Go
ahead, you go.
We're
both talkers, so this is good.
Tonight. But one of the things that I found is parents, they really want to talk to kids, their children. But one astounding thing is sometimes parents don't know how to approach the issue.
That's right. What do you recommend for parents on how to approach the issue?
That's why we created the Youthpedia project and tool is to just start just any conversation. Maybe you find something on the news or something to that effect and just start a conversation. And if you do that on a regular basis, it creates a line of communication. And then if something does come up, the child feels more comfortable talking about it. So it's all about the line of communication.
But what if you have a child that won't share? I mean, because a lot of my viewers and my audience here, they may have, what if you have children that say, oh, that's, no, that's never happened to me. They're in that mode of denial. What do you recommend for that situation?
Great question. You forge forth with the conversation anyway. You create scenarios. What if this happens? Or what if you have a friend? If that happens? And that's one of the things that Youthpedia does. It has a part for activities for the children, but in the latter part of the book, it has, what parents can do. It's a good to-dos and different questions you can ask throughout the week on that one subject. And with over 300 different topics, you can use Youthpedia for 5 years. And so, and after using that, again, what you want to do is bridge a line of communication with your child. Even if they're quiet or reserved or don't want to talk or really not sure, if you're consistent with your child, inculcating in them, they'll move forward with you.
Good. And then also, I know you're doing a lot of work in the prisons since the last time I talked to you. So tell me a little bit more about what you're doing.
It's interesting how that came about. I wanted to continue to teach because I hid my secrets of sexual child abuse, and then I started to anesthetize my recovery by way of just not talking. And I wanted to help people that needed redemption as well. What not a better place than the prison. And so I had a friend of mine that was volunteering. He gave me an opportunity to do the same. So I went in and developed good relationships with individuals that were incarcerated. And then I thought of the Youthpedia project. And it's like, well, what if we found a person or people that could draw and can believe in this vision? And that's how we came up with the wonderful artists that we have to help us with this project.
The artists that you have, you met in the prison?
Yes, I did. It's interesting. I put a call out to several artists, and I got different pieces of work, and they were okay, some substandard, and then some were good but not interested. But this one, he had desire, he had skill set, and he understood what we were going to do. We developed a friendship, and here we are.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And that's from you going to the prison. So now he did the artwork in your Youthpedia series?
Right. He did all the artwork. And the phenomenal thing about Youthpedia, again, it's 300 stories. It's an average of 10. It's an average of 10 different pieces of artwork per coloring book. So you're talking about 3,000 pictures. So he's not only a phenomenal artist, he has a phenomenal work ethic as well, like myself.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely inspired just by, his name is Scotty?
Scotty Jones.
And
he's here today. If you can meet him in a little bit.
Oh, cool. Scotty. Well, I already know he's here, but I was going to try to surprise my guest. Thanks for saying it before the break. Wait.
I couldn't hold it.
That's okay. Anyway, don't go away. Obviously, you're going to meet Scotty in a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Daily Balance with Kim Jacobs is sponsored in part by 5 Links. 5 Links is committed to being in the forefront of the telecommunications industry and offers products and services throughout the United States and worldwide. Services include Global Links digital phone, cellular services, satellite TV, high-speed internet, Global Links Wi-Fi phones, and 5 Links home security. For more information, call 1-800-575-4021 or visit our website today.
Don't be strong, you just believe.
Welcome back to Daily Balance. My guest today is Wade Younger. And as you all know, I had a surprise for you, but now Wade already told you about it. So we have Scotty Jones, and he's going to introduce him. Wade, you introduce our guest.
I appreciate that. Sorry about that, Kimberly. Well, we have here Scotty Jones. As we mentioned earlier, I met Scotty after doing some volunteer work at a prison, and Scotty was incarcerated for an issue that happened several years back. And what I wanted to do was find someone that understood the vision of helping children, and he caught on really nicely. So after talking about Youthopedia and the objective of it, Scotty agreed and gave us just some phenomenal work to display. So.
Well, welcome, Scotty. Glad to have you on the show. And you've done a beautiful job with Youthopedia and some really good work, and God has gifted you to do phenomenal with your hands. Mm-hmm. So continue to keep up the great work.
Thank you. It was a big step for me. I have a skill to draw, but it was not my passion. It was just something to do until I met him. And because I have kids of my own, I thought it was such a phenomenal project because I grew up without a father. So a lot of things I had to learn on my own.
Okay.
So being able to express or show kids, things that their parents either reluctant or just feel they can't talk to them about.
Right.
It's a great opportunity to get your point across, to help children. I was excited with it. It was 10 artists at one time, and I didn't know if I could do it myself. But because of what it was and my kids, it gave me the inspiration and motivation to go ahead and try it.
Wow.
So it worked out pretty good. I'm happy with what we're doing. The power to be able to change lives is a phenomenal thing in itself.
Yes.
So when I met Wade and what he was doing, I knew I wanted to be a part of it. It was my way of giving back also. So it's just a phenomenal thing, you know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to have a skill and be able to touch lives.
Wonderful.
For the lack of words, I would say you couldn't put no monetary price on it, so it would be priceless. You know what I'm saying?
It really is.
I
actually did a show on everyday heroes, and technically you all are everyday heroes too, because you're helping people that are in a very unfortunate situation, and you, through the gift of using your hands to actually illustrate it, is great, and you with the Butterfly Gateway is phenomenal because you have so many resources that are available for people, and it really is changing people's lives. I know you say that there's actually a link between even like obesity and sexual child abuse. Tell us more about that. What are your views on that?
Yeah, one of the things that was happening, every time I was talking to people about their story of sexual trauma and the support groups or speaking, I noticed a lot of people that had the issue had weight management issues. And so what I wanted to do was delve into, is there a connection? Because I know that 33% of Americans are overweight.
Okay.
And I know that 40% of individuals that go for gastric bypass surgery, 40% have sexual trauma history.
Oh.
So I realized there had to be a connection somewhere, and sure enough it is. There are several studies out there that show that there is a definite connection between sexual child abuse and obesity, because what happens is once a person experiences sexual trauma as a kid, what you want to do is anesthetize or numb the feeling.
Yeah.
What a better way than eating. And you eat for a couple of reasons. Number one, it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
It's legal, and you're not going to get arrested for buying food.
Right,
you know.
right.
And the other thing is,
Unfortunately,
yeah, really. But the other thing is, what it does is it subconsciously alters your body so you're not as attractive to a potential predator. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what happens. So you start to alter your body, but what happens is your solution becomes the problem.
Okay.
And weight is not something you are, it's something you have.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I want individuals to understand is that when it comes to weight management, it's great to go to the weight management areas, clinics,
Right.
whatever, but go to the root of the problem. Understand what's really bothering me. Why am I, quote unquote, eating myself to death?
Right.
And it has a lot to do with trauma a lot of the times. So I came up with a book entitled One of the Real Reasons.
One of the real reasons. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah,
too.
as in
And
one of the real reasons why, we're dealing with weight management issues.
the connection between obesity and sexual child abuse. And this is in the book. Go ahead and share what you're going to share with the audience here.
Yeah, as far as just that connection, because one of the things I did before I proceeded with the book is I checked with several of the larger weight management companies
Okay.
and asked them, are you doing anything to help trauma? And they said, no, we're not. That's not. We're in the business for food consumption,
Interesting.
choices and proportions, but not linking it toward that. So, and one of the things that we have is not just the connection, but also how to get to the root cause of your issue and how to move forward from that.
And so people can actually get the book on butterflygateway.com.
Right.
So butterflygateway.com, or they can also go to Daily Balance. You can also go to dailybalancewithkim.tv, and we'll reroute you to butterflygateway.com.
Right.
Awesome. So you have, I mean, literally, the last time I came, the last time I had you on the show, you had a whole different, a plethora of other resources. Now this time you have One of the Real Reasons, 3 additional books that were not here that I knew of anyway the last time. The Jericho Rose. And tell us about Jericho Rose.
The Jericho Rose is, I call it the book to read when you feel like you've ruined your life. A lot of times people get into drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, and just disappear from society when they have sexual trauma.
Yes.
If you've got into those things, that's a book to help you with self-recovery, self-forgiveness, and how to just say, forgive yourself and move forward from there.
And then the Teachers Accused, Students Abused. What's behind the phenomenon of student-teacher sexual relationships?
Right.
Some good stuff here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about that for just a little bit.
Yes.
In the past 5 years, 100 teachers have been arrested for sexual misconduct. The department.
That's a rack of teachers.
It
I mean,
is.
and we are literally entrusting our children on a daily basis to the school system because you're in partnership with them
Exactly.
to provide an education, and things like this is happening.
The Department of Education put out a report that stated that a child is more likely to be molested by a teacher than a priest. So it gets scary. But one of the things that this book will do is it talks about that very heady subject. I know it's controversial, but it's tantalizing for some people, but it's a serious problem. But it's also for the parent, how can you protect your children? It's all about protecting
It's all
children.
about protection.
It's all
and
about
that
protection.
is, that's why I brought you back again, because we're going to protect these kids out here from this craziness. Please don't go away. More with Daily Balance in a minute. Thank you so much. And thank you, Scotty.
Pleasure's mine.
Daily Balance with Kim Jacobs is sponsored in part by the Rock Worship Center, Church of God in Christ, located at 1113 Fordham Road, Charlotte, North Carolina. The Rock Worship Center, making disciples through evangelism, exaltation, and edification. For more information, call 704-358-4167 or visit our website at rockworshipcenter.org.
Welcome back to Daily Balance. Again, we have Wade Younger here with us. And Wade, I'm really glad to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
So glad. And because you're
Appreciate it.
changing lives with what you're doing.
I appreciate that very
Yes.
much. Yeah.
Yes, you are. I wanted to ask you, you recently received some special endorsements, and I wanted everyone to know what they were.
Yeah, basically, as you know, I was on the Dr. Phil Get
Yes.
Real retreat last year, and since then I was on another update show from him, and he got a chance to see the work that we're doing,
Yes.
and he endorsed the Butterfly Gateway and my book Moon Cussers,
Oh,
and
good.
which is amazing. We get a chance to use that Dr. Phil brand to get in places we wouldn't otherwise receive. And one of the great things about that, he actually works really closely with a guy by the name of Dr. Frank Lawless.
Okay.
And he wrote my forward for Moon Cussers, and that's really good. So I really appreciate the endorsements.
Good. That's a
Yeah.
high five moment.
It
Yes,
really is. Thank you.
good. And that's because he knows that you're changing lives and you're making a difference, educating people. So
Yeah.
you recently did you said you were on a Get Real retreat. Now you've been at a Get Real reunion.
Right,
Those are all
exactly.
tongue twisters. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Okay. But at the Get Real reunion, what happened recently?
Basically, what Dr. Phil wanted to do is take the 14 of us and bring us back together to give us an opportunity to talk about what we've done, any growth, the victories, share those, and show the importance of support groups.
Okay.
It's interesting, as we talk about sexual child abuse today, it was 14 of us. 9 of the 14 experienced sexual trauma, even though they were on the show for various different things.
Right,
but
I
it
saw
shows,
that.
it shows the prevalence of sexual child abuse. But we came together and got a chance to talk, to reminisce,
Yeah.
and to catch up, because we really haven't seen each other since the show aired, or since the show taped.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, literally, I mean, so it seems like it's very important then to have a support group. What are some of the benefits of having that kind of group?
It really is. There's an expression that weak minds talk about people, great minds talk about things.
Yes.
When you get together to talk, it's important to talk about ideas as far as moving forward.
Yes.
And you can't do that unless you connect with someone. And for people who experience trauma, it is a bit of a risk
Interesting.
to trust enough to talk.
Yes.
But once you take the risk and you open up and you become transparent, it's really helpful, because the big thing is you have to understand that you're not alone,
Yeah.
you're not strange, and as you go and mutter through your recovery process, it's important to know that everybody sort of follows the same script. And as we look at media today, there's a famous actress who talked about her trauma story, and it's interesting as you watch that. Her recovery and her talking about her issues is very similar to everybody else. So it's good to talk about it. Create a support group. If you can't find one, create one to move forward, especially men. I cannot emphasize men to talk more about it. It's so important.
That's really good.
It really is.
Because when I was thinking about the whole support group thing, I was thinking it's important to have a safe haven, to know that you have something in common with those other individuals. So now you're